Hello friends, welcome to my channel Katha Manthan. Today I am going to tell you the ISC drama The Tempest Act 3, Act 4 and Act 5 summary written by William Shakespeare. If you want to read the question answers, please visit the blogspot www.kathamanthan.blogspot.com. 3. Scene 1. Ferdinand and Miranda. Ferdinand is partly reconciled to the task of carrying wood. He is now engaged in good task because of Miranda's sympathy with him. The thoughts of Miranda lighten his toil. He is most busy in thoughts about Miranda when he is least occupied with his task. Miranda comes to him while he is working, and Prospero watches them from a distance. She prays him to rest a while and wishes that the lightning had burnt all the logs, and attributing to them the sympathy that she feels for Ferdinand, imagines that they will weep, while they burn for having reared him. She even offers to carry them herself for him, but Ferdinand would rather crack his knees and break his back than permit it. He desires to know her name so that he may set it down in his daily prayers, and Miranda lets him know her name, forgetting her father's command to the contrary. His rapturous praise of Miranda as the very perfection of womanhood is followed by Miranda's declaring that she cannot desire any other companion or imagine any other human shape that she can cherish in her heart. He then declares his love openly and swears the allegiance of his heart to her. Miranda, prompted by plain and holy innocence, wants to be the wife of Ferdinand or his maid if he will not marry her. Ferdinand kneels and offers his hand to her as a pledge of his love and devotion. For part of the time, Prospero has been watching them, unseen from a distance, and rejoices at the happy result. तो दोस्तों, यहाँ पे हम लोग को सीन है फर्डिनेंड और मिरांडा को लेके। फर्डिनेंड को यहाँ पे प्रॉस्पेरो ने लकड़ियों को उठाने का काम दिया है, और वो जब लकड़ियाँ उठा रहे हैं तो वो मिरांडा के बारे में सोचता है। कुछ देर यूं ही काम करते करते मिरांडा उसके पास आती है और कहती है कि काश ये लकड़ियाँ जल जाती, क्योंकि ये लकड़ियों ने तुमको बहुत कष्ट दिया है। फर्डिनेंड वीप कर रहा होता है, यानी कि रो रहा होता है मिरांडा के साथ। मिरांडा भी रो रही होती है। वो लोग दोनों एक दूसरे से बहुत प्यार करते हैं। मिरांडा कहती है कि तुम कुछ देर बैठ जाओ, तब तक मैं तुम्हारे लिए ही लकड़ियाँ उठा लूँगी। लेकिन फर्डिनेंड कहता है कि मैं मर जाऊँगा, मेरा कमर टूट जाएगा, लेकिन मैं तब भी ये सारी लकड़ियाँ उठाऊँगा। वहीं प्रॉस्पेरो अदृश्य होकर उन दोनों को देख रहा था। लास्टली मिरांडा कहती है कि वो उस फर्डिनेंड के अलावा किसी और को अपना हस्बैंड नहीं मान सकती, और अगर वो फर्डिनेंड से शादी नहीं करती है तो आजीवन उसकी मेड बन के रहेगी। तभी फर्डिनेंड उसको नील डाउन करके बैठ के लव और अपने डिवोशन के लिए अपना हाथ ऑफर करता है। उसके बाद प्रॉस्पेरो उन लोग को देखता रह जाता है और बहुत खुश हो जाता है। Scene 2 summary. Stefano, Trinculo and Caliban are all reeling drunk. Stefano, already dreaming of the lordship of the island, declared Caliban to be his lieutenant. Caliban, helplessly muddled with drink, offers to lick his shoes, but he never for a moment forgets the thought of revenge upon Prospero. In the meantime, Caliban and Trinculo, each being unable to stand the other, fall out and Stefano has to intervene. While Caliban has been complaining of the tyranny of Prospero and inciting Stefano against Prospero, Ariel Invisible repeats, "Thou liest both to Caliban and Stefano," as they speak of Prospero, and thus sets Stefano and Caliban against Trinoculo, for they suppose that Trinoculo is contradicting them. At last, Trinoculo moves further off from them. Caliban sets forth his plan of revenge upon Prospero. Will sleep in the afternoon as his custom is. They will first seize his books of magic and then batter his skull with a log, or run through his belly with a stick, or cut his throat with a knife. Caliban suggests Stefano to seize Prospero's books first, so that he will be without the spirits to command. Caliban promises as a further inducement to Stefano, Prospero's daughter, as his queen over and above the dominion of the island. Stefano now makes up with Trinoculo, and all the three are agreed to carry out the plot against Prospero. Stefano breaks out into a drinking song at the request of Caliban. It is soon followed by aerial music played to the same tune by Ariel. Stefano and Trinoculo are little startled, but Caliban assures them that it is nothing and that aerial voices, sometimes accompanied by instrumental music, are but a common experience of his on the island. जैसा कि हम लोग देखे थे पहले वाले सीन में, कैलिबन ट्रिनोक्युलो और स्टेफेनो से मिलता है। यहाँ पे कैलिबन स्टेफेनो का नौकर बनने के लिए राजी है और वो उसके तलवे भी चाट रहा है, इसलिए क्योंकि कैलिबन चाहता है कि स्टेफेनो प्रॉस्पेरो को मार दे और प्रॉस्पेरो की बेटी से शादी कर ले, जो कि यहाँ पे मिरांडा है। वो लोग दोनों इस आइलैंड पे राज करे। कैलिबन का प्रॉस्पेरो से दुश्मनी है क्योंकि प्रॉस्पेरो उसको टीच करना चाहता था, लेकिन कैलिबन उससे टीचिंग्स नहीं लिया और प्रॉस्पेरो कैलिबन को टीच करना चाहता था, लेकिन कैलिबन स्वभाव से ही बहुत ही गंदा था, इसलिए वो प्रॉस्पेरो की कोई भी बात नहीं सुनता था और वो जैसा था राक्षस की तरह वैसे ही वह रहना चाहता था। इसलिए कैलिबन प्रॉस्पेरो से बहुत हेट करता है, क्योंकि प्रॉस्पेरो ने लास्ट में सोचा कि इसको टीच नहीं किया जा सकता, इसलिए इससे काम ही कराना बेहतर है। फिर कैलिबन उससे नफरत करने लगा और आज कैलिबन उसको मारने का प्लान बनाता है स्टेफेनो और ट्रिनोक्युलो के साथ। Scene 3 Summary. Alonso, wandering about in search of his son, gets tried and gives up all hope of finding him again. Gonzalo too gets tired. Antonio and Sebastian are glad to hear that Alonso is out of hope and plan to make another attempt upon Alonso's life that night. When Gonzalo and Alonso, oppressed with travel, will sleep soundly and thus give them the opportunity. Suddenly there is a solemn and strange music in air. Then several strange shapes enter, bringing in a banquet. They dance round it with gestures of salutation and then inviting the king to eat and depart. After this occurrence, they are half inclined to believe all the marvelous tales told by travelers. Sebastian comments that he is already to believe that there's are unicorn and the phoenix throne. Gonzalo adds that there is nothing wrong to believe the stories of mountaineers dewlapped like bulls, or those whose heads stood in their breasts. As they are going to sit down to the feast, it is snatched away by a harpy, Ariel disguised. A spirit voice, the voice of Ariel, denounces Alonso, Sebastian and Antonio, particularly with reference to their crime in expelling Prospero from Milan, for which punishment so long deferred is now inflicted upon them. Upon Alonso, it pronounces lingering perdition, worse than any death, from which there is no remedy except through sincere repentance. Then Ariel vanishes in thunder. These shapes enter again and carry away the table. Prospero, who watches invisibly, is very much pleased with the performance of Ariel and his Prospero's ministers. All his enemies are now in his power. For a while, he leaves them in the feat of desperation and goes to see how Ferdinand and Miranda are getting on. The effect of the spirit's denunciation of Alonso's crime leaves him much humbled and penitent and confirms his belief that his son is lost forever. Then they disperse, all stricken mad by the speech of the spirit. Gonzalo, fearing that they may do violence to themselves or to one another, follows them and bids others follow. जैसा कि हम लोग देख सकते हैं सीन 3 में एलोन्सो, गॉन्जेलो, एंटोनियो को सबको दिखाया जा रहा है। यहाँ पे एरियल उन लोग के सामने एक खाने का बहुत सुंदर बड़ा सा टेबल बैंक्वेट बना के पेश करता है, लेकिन जो फेरीज वो बैंक्वेट लेके आते हैं उसी समय वहाँ पर एरियल आ जाता है, एक इनविजिबल मतलब एक बहुत बड़े मॉन्स्टर का शेप लेकर के, और वो उस लोग को कहता है कि तुम लोग ने बहुत सारे पाप किए हैं, खास करके वो पाप जिसमें प्रॉस्पेरो और मिरांडा को तुम लोग ने उन्हीं की जगह मिलान से बाहर निकाल दिया गया था। ये सब बात सुन के वो लोग के मन में बहुत दुख होता है और वो लोग तो एक्चुअली बिलीव भी नहीं कर पाते कि आइलैंड में फेरीज और मॉन्स्टर्स भी रहते हैं। इसलिए एक कंफ्यूज्ड पैशन उन लोग के अंदर दौड़ने लगता है और वो लोग थोड़े से पागल हो जाते हैं। इमोशनल स्ट्रेस और पेन से वो लोग बहुत अजीब तरह की हरकतें करने लगते हैं। वहीं प्रॉस्पेरो इनविजिबल होके उन लोग को देख रहा होता है और उससे बहुत खुशी होती है कि वो लोग को अपनी गलती का एटलीस्ट रियलाइजेशन तो है। Act 4, Scene 1 Summary. Prospero and the Magic Show. Prospero, pleased with Ferdinand for having stood the trial. In offering his daughter to him, he remarks that this gift make more than amends for all Ferdinand's suffering. In offering his daughter to him, he remarks that this gift make more than amends for all Ferdinand's suffering. He prays to be excused for boosting her off, as he really believes that she is beyond all praise. Prospero warns Ferdinand against defailing the purity of love by coming together before their marriage, in the event of which their union together will result in hate and discord. Ferdinand makes a solemn promise to respect the sanctity of love by all means. Ariel now approaches Prospero, of course, invisible to Ferdinand and Miranda. Prospero, desiring to amuse the young couple with a show of his magic art, bids Ariel summon a band of spirits immediately to the place. Then he dismisses Ariel and, turning to Ferdinand again, warns him against indulging in wanton sports of love. Now enters Ares, the goddess of the rainbow and the messenger of the gods. She summons Ceres, Mother Earth, from her favorite haunts, rich fields of wheat, rye, barley, etc., mountain slopes, hay fields, and river banks, overgrown with marigolds and sedges, broom groves and vineyards, and the sterile and rocky seashore. She bids Ceres come and entertain Juno, who is coming there with her peacocks. Ceres soon appears and learns that she has been summoned to celebrate true contract of love. She expresses her unwillingness to meet Venus and Cupid, whose company she has shunned since they helped Dis, the king of lower regions, in carrying off her daughter Proserpine. Ares sets her mind at ease by telling her that Venus and Cupid tried to do some mischief here, but falling in their purpose had retreated. Soon Ceres is joined by Juno, and both bestow their blessings upon Ferdinand and Miranda. Juno gifts of honors, riches, happiness in marriage, and Ceres presents plenty of earth's produce. Then Ares summons the water nymphs and river. They join in dance. Suddenly Prospero waves off the shore. He is greatly agitated. However, Prospero gets calmer in a moment and converses on the transitories of earthly things, comparable to vision which he called up by his magic and had faded away a minute ago. And then he goes on to say, we are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with the sleep. Bidding Ferdinand and Miranda to retire to his cell and waits for Ariel. The conspiracy of Caliban and its result. Prospero knows about Caliban's plot. Ariel relates how he has led them, that is, Caliban, Stephano, and Trinoculo, to a merry dance by his music through toothed briars, sharp furrows, pricking gores and thorns, and left them in a foul and stinking pool, a little beyond his cell. Prospero praises him for his wit and beats him hand out of trumpery in his house on a tree as a trap for them. Caliban, Stephano, and Trinoculo appear all dripping wet, while Prospero and Ariel remain invisible. Caliban prays them treat softly lest they may wake Prospero, whom he supposes to be asleep. He promises Stephano a prize that will make the loss of his bottle and is prepared to go back to look for it, while Caliban is anxious that they should lose no more time in carrying out their plot. They soon discover the trumpery dresses hung on the lime tree. Trinoculo and Stephano began to pull all of the garments. Caliban is annoyed with their fondness for such stuff and gets impatient at the delay. Suddenly they are set upon by spirits in the shape of dogs. They hear the cries of invisible hunters encouraging the dogs and are hunted up and down. जैसा कि हम लोग एक्ट 4 में देख रहे हैं कि प्रॉस्पेरो फर्डिनेंड और मिरांडा के मैरिज के सेलिब्रेशन के लिए बहुत तरह के स्पिरिट्स को बुलाया है. उनमें से कुछ स्पिरिट्स है ज्यूनो, सेरस और आइरिस. आइरिस द स्पिरिट ऑफ रेनबो एंड मैसेंजर ऑफ गॉड्स. सेरस यहाँ पे पृथ्वी की गॉडेस को बताया जा रहा है और ज्यूनो गॉड सारे गॉडेसेस की गॉडेस है, यानी कि जुपिटर की वाइफ. जुपिटर इज द गॉड ऑफ गॉड्स. यहाँ पे ज्यूनो पीकॉक्स पे बैठ के आ रही है और आइरिस सेरेस से कहता है कि तुम भी आ जाओ क्योंकि यहाँ पर मिरांडा और फर्डिनेंड के लव को हम लोग सेलिब्रेट करने जा रहे हैं. सेरेस बोलती है हाँ मैं ज़रूर आऊँगी, लेकिन वहाँ पे वेनिस और क्यूपिड नहीं होना चाहिए. वो बोलते हैं कि हाँ वहाँ पे वेनिस और क्यूपिड नहीं है क्योंकि वेनिस और क्यूपिड ट्राई किए थे कि इस लव को भी मिस्चीफ बना दे, लेकिन उन्होंने ये वो लिया है फर्डिनेंड और मिरांडा ने कि वो लोग कोई भी मिस्चीफ एक्टिविटी नहीं परफॉर्म करेंगे. इसलिए सेरेस वेनिस और क्यूपिड की कंपनी को इसलिए अवॉइड करती है क्योंकि सेरेस की बेटी प्रॉस्पेरिन यानी कि स्प्रिंग सीजन प्लूटो के साथ, प्लूटो ने स्प्रिंग सीजन यानी कि प्रॉस्पेरिन सेरेस की बेटी को किडनैप किया था विद द हेल्प ऑफ वेनस एंड क्यूपिड. इसलिए सेरेस वेनस और क्यूपिड की कंपनी को अवॉइड करती है. Act 5 Summary. The final scene of forgiveness and reconciliation. Prospero is glad to see his project is almost complete, that his enemies are absolutely at his mercy, that his spirits are obedient like Ariel. It is nearly 6 o'clock when Ariel is to be released, but he has yet one more task to perform. The king and his followers are under Prospero's spell. They have been left prisoners by Ariel in the lime grove. which weather funds. Prospero Cell and Ariel, though a spirit, seems to have been touched by their veiled grief and terror, which he now describes to Prospero. Prospero declares his intention to forgive them all for being one of their kind. He naturally feels for them more than Ariel. Prospero then addresses the spirits of hills, brooks, standing lakes, and groves, abjures the magic power by means of which he has so long commanded their services. The last use that he makes of it is to produce some heavenly music for the restoration of the senses of his enemies as they are brought in by the Ariel. They all stand in the magic circle which Prospero has made for them. As he works off their trains, he addresses them one by one, in the course of which he refers to the loyalty of Gonzalo, to the wrong done to him by Alonso, aided by his brother Sebastian, and lastly to the treachery of his own brother. But they cannot yet recognize him. He then puts his magic robes off and with Ariel's help dresses himself as the former Duke of Milan. Alonso, though not yet fully satisfied of his identity, promises his dukedom back to him and asks his forgiveness. Prospero first embraces Gonzalo, then in an aside to Sebastian and Antonio he tells that he is aware of their conspiracy against the King Alonso, promising however to tell no tales. He unreservedly forgives his brother his foulest crime. Alonso desires to hear particulars of his story which Prospero reserves for the future. And in this connection, Alonso cannot help referring to the loss of his dear son, which Prospero matches by the story of the loss of his daughter in the last tempest. Alonso wishes that his son and Prospero's daughter had been alive at this hour to have been the king and queen of Naples. A declaration that certainly pleases Prospero and which he perhaps wished secretly to hear. Even then the company appeared to be all dazed and bewildered. Prospero, however, welcomes them and bids them follow him to his cell. Ferdinand and Miranda playing at chess. When Alonso sees his own son playing chess with most exquisitely beautiful maiden, he cannot believe his eyes and does not know whether he could take it to be a vision of the island. Ferdinand at once knelt to him. Miranda exclaims in wonder, beholding so how many goodly creatures, the revelation of a new world to her. Ferdinand, in introducing Miranda to his father, acquaints him with the fact of his engagement with her. Gonzalo, deeply moved by such happy termination of events, prays for the blessings of God upon the couple. Alonso says Amen. The master and the boatswain brought in by Ariel. As soon as Gonzalo beholds the boatswain, he points to the fulfillment of his prophecy that the fellow is reserved for hanging on land. The boatswain is glad to see the king and his company safe and reports that the ship, which was given up for lost, is now tight and Yera. But he is unable to explain how it all came about. So far as he remembers, all the mariners were clapped under hatches where they were dead asleep until they were waked by a confused din and roar and then found the ship to be all right, at which the master danced in joy. Alonso remarks that the whole affair is a mystery and nothing can throw light on it except some revelation from the gods. Prospero promises to satisfy him when he is alone at leisure. He has yet to set Caliban and his associates free. Caliban, Stefano and Trinocchio, brought in by Ariel. All three are still reeling under the influence of drink. Stefano cries, "Let Every man shift for all the rest, and nobody care for himself. Trinoculo is in doubt whether he should believe the evidence of his eyes. Caliban trembles in fear of his master, now in Duke's robe. Both Sebastian and Antonio marvel at the fish-like appearance of Caliban. Prospero tells the story of origin of Caliban and of his plot with his two associates against his life, the two latter being seized with the cramp known to their cost, the result of sparring to the lordship of the island. Caliban is bidden to tidy up the cell for the company. Prospero then invites the king and his train to his cell, where they are to spend the night, which he will beguile with the story of his life. He promises to bring them in the morning to their ship, and then they will all proceed to Naples, whence he declares he will retire to Milan to prepare for the last day of his life. After having seen Miranda wedded to Ferdinand, at last he releases Ariel, all his tasks having been accomplished. तो हम लोग एक्ट 5 में कंक्लूजन सीन यानी कि क्लाइमेक्स सीन देखते हैं। यहाँ पे प्रॉस्पेरो अपने सेल में सबको इनवाइट करता है, अलोंजो, एंटोनियो, सेबेस्टियन और यहाँ तक कि गोंजेलो, ट्रिनोक्यूलो, स्टेफेनो, सबको। यहाँ पे क्या होता है, क्लाइमेक्स वाले सीन में एलोंजो अपनी गलतियाँ माफ़ कर लेता है। वो लोग प्रॉस्पेरो को देख के बहुत शॉक हो जाते हैं, लेकिन प्रॉस्पेरो अपनी सब स्टोरीज़ बोलता है कि वो कभी विस्तार में बैठ के बताएगा। वो लोग अपनी गलतियों के लिए प्रॉस्पेरो से माफ़ी मांगते हैं और प्रॉस्पेरो एंटोनियो को बोलता है कि एंटोनियो और सेबेस्टियन को कहता है कि उसको पता है कि वो एलोंजो के साथ क्या कॉन्स्पिरेसी कर रहा है, यानी कि एलोंजो को मारने का जो प्लान बना रहा है वो प्रॉस्पेरो को पता है। तो प्रॉस्पेरो बोलता है कि तुम लोग अपना ये सब गंदी हरकतें छोड़ दो, इन सब में कुछ नहीं रखा हुआ। और एट लास्ट प्रॉस्पेरो जब एरियल से बात कर रहा होता है तो एरियल को भी कहता है कि तुमने अपना सब काम बहुत अच्छे से किया और एट लास्ट काम करके तुम भी फ्री हो जाओगे। यही एलोंजो सोच रहा होता है कि काश उसका बेटा ज़िंदा होता और प्रॉस्पेरो की बेटी ज़िंदा होती तो वो दोनों उन लोग की शादी करा देते। प्रॉस्पेरो यही कुछ कहते कहते अपने सेल में उन लोग को लेके जाते हैं, जहाँ पे फर्डिनेंड और मिरांडा बैठ के चेस खेल रहे होते हैं। फिर फर्डिनेंड देख करके अपने फादर को शॉक हो जाता है और यहाँ पे मिरांडा, जो कि पहली बार सब लोगों को देख रही है, वो भी शॉक हो जाती है। सब लोग मिरांडा को गॉडेस समझते हैं, लेकिन प्रॉस्पेरो एक्चुअल में कहता है कि वो मेरी बेटी है। और फिर एज ए कंक्लूडिंग सीन में हैप्पीली वो लोग सोचते हैं कि वो लोग नेपल्स वापस चले जाए, जहाँ पे फर्डिनेंड और मिरांडा के मैरिज हो सके। यहाँ पे जो बोट्सवाना और सेलर्स थे वो लोग भी अपने नींद से जाग गए होते हैं, जो कि एरियल ने उन लोग को सुला दिया था। शिप भी रिपेयर हो जाती है और प्रॉस्पेरो कहता है कि वो नेक्स्ट दिन उन लोग सबको लेकर के नेपल्स चला जाएगा और विस्तार में बैठ के कभी उनको सब स्टोरीज बताएगा। यहाँ पे कैलिबन, ट्रिनोक्यूलो और स्टेफेनो भी अपनी गलती मान लेते हैं और उन लोग के सर्वेंट्स की तरह काम करने के लिए रेडी हो जाते हैं। और इस तरह से मिलान ने प्रॉस्पेरो को वापस मिल जाता है, जहाँ पे वो अपनी आखिरी सांसें कभी लेगा। इस तरह से हम लोग का जो टेम्पेस्ट का ड्रामा है वो एंड करता है। सो फ्रेंड्स, थैंक यू फॉर विजिटिंग माय चैनल कथा मंथन। थैंक यू।